Despite how old it might be, the original Nintendo Entertainment System will always be one of the most iconic video game consoles of all time. That thing introduced so many amazing franchises that are still going on strong today, but most importantly, it introduced Mario, one of the greatest and most iconic characters in video game history. Ever since the original Super Mario Bros. Came out on the NES, Mario has been Nintendo's golden goose, and they have made so many games that are all centered around him, and he's still going strong today on the Nintendo Switch. Mario also got a decent amount of games on the NES, with a lot of them being pretty fun to play right now in the modern age, so today, I'm going to be ranking each one. This list will mostly be based on how fun the games are, what makes them unique, as well as what I personally like or dislike about them. So with all that said, let's go! 15. Mario's Time Machine. When you first hear the title of this game, it sounds really fun and interesting, but then you actually play the damn thing. Mario's Time Machine is one of the worst Mario games ever made because of how boring and mind-numbing it is. This game is such a drag to get through because you're constantly having to go from place to place, and none of these locations are interesting or get me excited to go there. On top of that, trying to learn all this stuff to complete the game is miserable, and what makes it worse is that a lot of the stuff that you so-called learn is wrong, which ruins the entire purpose of this game. Please don't play this game. You have much better ways to spend your time than this garbage. 14. Mario's Missing. This game is just barely better than Mario's Time Machine. It's another learning game where you have to run around and learn historical facts and eventually save Mario from Bowser. However, just like Mario's Time Machine, trying to get through this game is miserable, and once again, a lot of the learning you do isn't historically accurate. The reason why I placed this higher is because it has Luigi and is a little bit more tolerable, but this and Mario's Time Machine could really be switched depending on you. Actually, the fact that this was the game where Luigi finally took the starring role is downright insulting to him, but hey, at least he got the attention he deserves later on. 13. Yoshi. One of the earlier appearances of the lovable green dino was sadly in one of the most forgettable games ever. In fact, you're not even playing as Yoshi. Instead, you play as Mario and Yoshi is just chilling there in the corner, so why even bother calling it Yoshi? But anyways, in this game, you have to constantly move the platforms on the bottom so they match up with the items that are about to fall from the top. While that might be cool and it can get hard sometimes, that doesn't really make for a fantastic game. You're going to get bored of this game really quickly and will probably go and play an actual good puzzle game like Tetris or Dr. Mario. This isn't the worst game of all time, but it could have been a lot better. 12. Yoshi's Cookie. Yeah, we're not done with Yoshi just yet. This is another really forgettable game, and for some reason, Yoshi is nowhere to be found. Once again, Mario is the main man of the show. Regardless, in this game, you need to move the different rows and columns of cookies so they can pair up. You also can rack up a bunch of cookies at a time if you line it up correctly. Personally, I don't really care for this game, and the level of customization is pretty small, but what gives it an edge over Yoshi is that there's a bit more thinking needed in order to get the game down, and those cookies do look pretty tasty. However, you'd be much better off playing almost any other puzzle game. 11. Wario's Woods. I was debating on whether or not to include this game on the list, but it does include Mario characters like Toad and Birdo, so I let it slide. You have to line up 2 or more of the creatures with bombs that fall from the sky. You can also run up the walls and carry multiple things at once to help you. I never knew that Toad was so strong, but hey, I can't complain. However, if you're not fast enough, Wario will show up and make the game a lot harder. More things will fall from the top, and the ceiling will start to sink, meaning that you have less room to work with. This game isn't bad, and it's definitely got some cool ideas, but it gets old pretty quick and doesn't have the same charm as other games we'll get to later on the list. 10. NES Open Tournament Golf. This is about as basic of a golf game as you can get. You play as Mario and get to golf on several different holes. You have to get the ball on the green and into the hole in the fewest amount of strokes possible. This game gets the job done with the golfing part, but it does get pretty boring, and despite having Mario in it, that doesn't do anything to spice up the game. I really wish Nintendo would have made the courses more like the levels you'd see in actual Mario games to make it more interesting. Also, the controls are honestly pretty crappy. They're super finicky and it's really easy to mess up. So, to sum up this game, it's golf with Mario characters and that's it. It can be a little enjoyable, but I really expected more. 9. Mario Bros. The game where Mario's plumber skills are truly put to the test. You have to run and jump across the different levels of the sewers and take out the many enemies that will come out of the pipes. The enemies will appear from the pipes from the top and will slowly work their way down. The only way to defeat them is to bonk the floor underneath them and kick them off the stage. The longer it takes you to complete the stage, the more aggressive the enemies will become, and fireballs will occasionally fly through the screen. This is a decent game, but my main problem is the controls. They are very stiff, and you can't jump forward or backwards unless you have a running start. Also, there's only one stage in the game, and the only thing that changes is the colors, so you can see how it gets boring quickly. 8. Donkey Kong, the game where we first laid eyes on Mario, or Jumpman as he was called back then. You have to run and jump through a few different stages and make it to the top to defeat Donkey Kong and save Pauline, or as this game calls her, Lady. You also have to avoid items like barrels and fireballs on the way up, which you can destroy by using hammers that are scattered around the stage. As you make it through the game, things keep moving faster and faster until you eventually lose all of your lives. This is another game that used to be an arcade game, so there's not too much depth here. Also, the NES removed one of the levels from the arcade version, which is odd, but it's still pretty fun and has become very iconic. 7. Donkey Kong Jr. I can't believe it either, but in this game, Mario is the bad guy this time around and DK Jr. needs to rescue his papa. You have to grab onto the different ropes and climb to the top while avoiding the enemies that are along the way or that Mario sends at you. And, like Donkey Kong, as you get to the higher levels, things keep moving faster as you go along until you eventually get a game over. Now, some of you may disagree with me and say that the original Donkey Kong is better, and while I agree that that game is more iconic, what gives DK Jr. the edge is that there's a little more depth to this game than the first one with the ropes and the climbing. Plus, it's cool to see the roles in a game reversed for once. 6. Dr. Mario. I'm not sure where or how Mario got his PhD, but it does make for an excellent puzzle game. You've got a body that's been infected with viruses, and you have to throw pills in there to get rid of them. You do this by lining up 4 or more colors in a row, and you can even drop pills onto other viruses if you line them up right. As you progress through the levels, more and more viruses will appear at the start, making you have to think a lot faster on where to place the pills. This game is a lot of fun, and there's quite a few options on how you want to play the game. You can change up what level you start on, you can change the speed, and you can even change what music plays in the background. I just really wish there was more stuff to do beyond the main game. 5. Wrecking Crew. Does anyone even remember this game? Yeah, that really is Mario doing all the damage. You're given multiple stages with walls, barrels, and ladders scattered around. Your objective in this game is to destroy basically everything on the stage that can be destroyed, and you have to do it without getting hit by any enemies on the stage. There's also the occasional other guy running around who will try to sabotage you by hitting you or destroying your ways of navigating the stage. What makes this game so fun is that not only do you have to destroy everything without getting hit, but you also have to plan out what to destroy first, because destroying the wrong thing will cause you to lose. This is a really good game with a nice amount of depth. 4. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This is easily one of Nintendo's most infamous games of all time, and for good reason. It's a lot like the first game, but there's a few new sprites here and there, and the levels are a lot harder than usual. Not only do you have to be a lot more precise when making jumps, but there's also a ton more enemies to worry about. There's also some special stages you can unlock, but you have to beat the game 8 times without shortcuts to access them, and in case you couldn't tell, that can suck big time. However, despite how unbelievably annoying this game can be, it's honestly really fun, and I can laugh at myself with all the screw-ups I make because of how stupidly challenging this game can be. 3. Super Mario Bros. Ah yes, the game that started it all. You control Mario and have to get through multiple different levels until you finally defeat Bowser and save Princess Peach. These levels you visit are based on various themes like grassland, underground, water, and castles. Along the way, you'll find tons of enemies like Goombas, Koopas, and piranha plants that you have to get rid of to progress. What else do I have to say that hasn't already been said? This game is still really fun. The difficulty for the game is just right, and running and jumping through the different levels, squashing Goombas, and hitting blocks is really satisfying. This game is a classic and will continue to go down as one of the most important games of all time. 2. Super Mario Bros. 2, also known as Doki Doki Panic, but with Mario. The thing is, despite being called Super Mario Bros., this game is very different from the original. Unlike most Mario 2D platformers where you jump on enemies, the main gimmick of this game is that you can pick stuff up like enemies or vegetables and throw them for your attacks, and this tactic is used a lot during the game, whether it be used against bosses or using it to maneuver your way through a certain level. Despite how different this game is, it's actually really fun. It's got great levels, good controls, some decent music, and you can play as multiple characters, all with different abilities. This is definitely the most unique 2D Mario game out of everything we've seen from Nintendo, and I respect it because of that. However, this game doesn't even compare to 1. Super Mario Bros. 3. Let's be real, this game kind of wins by a landslide. Super Mario Bros. 3 is still one of the greatest Mario games of all time. The graphics got a huge upgrade and are still pretty charming, and the music is a lot better than the past games and is a lot more catchy in my opinion. As for the gameplay, it is really awesome. The controls feel a lot more refined, the levels are even more fun to run around in, there's a few more enemies introduced, and the power-ups in this game are a lot more interesting, especially the Super Leaf. This was also the first Mario game to have a proper world map, with each one having a distinct theme for the levels you play. I just love this game. It may be old, but it's still incredibly fun, and is even better than some of the modern Mario games, and that's why it's the best Mario game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The main reason why I wanted to make this ranking video is so I could give myself a chance to see some of these classic games that helped turn Mario into what he is today. They may not all be masterpieces, but it was amazing to see some of the early stages of Mario games. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to give it a like, and let me know down in the comments which one of these games is your favorite, and make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you'll know when I post more videos like this. Have a great day, stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.